But soon, this shock faded. Lu Fuzi's eyes flashed, and a cold smile slowly appeared on his lips. Fortunately, he hasn't reached the third step yet. As long as he hasn't reached the third step, I don't believe he dares to fight me. What does two sources matter? Just a mere brute. If he doesn't provoke me, it's fine, but if he dares to challenge me, I will make him understand what a third step profound void expert truly is. With a cold snort, Lu Fuzi took a step forward, never once glancing at Xiang below. In his eyes, all living beings in this world were mere ants, unworthy of his gaze. Donglin Star, the most mysterious place in the Luotian star domain. Wang Lin had heard numerous rumors about this star over the years. This star did not have a fixed position and slowly drifted within the eastern Luotian region. Even if one reached the perfect shattered nirvana stage, it would be incredibly difficult to locate this wandering Donglin star in the vast sea of stars without the guidance jade slip. Even if one used their divine sense, it would be hindered by the peculiar structures of the star itself. Finding this star could only be done by relying on the naked eye, but not for Wang Lin. At this moment, in the vast eastern star domain of Luotian, a cultivation star that was both eye-catching and terrifying was slowly drifting. In the starry sky, faint pits could be seen on the cultivation star's surface, emitting a dim yellow glow, and a powerful pressure spread across the sky, sweeping outwards. Donglin Star. This star was not alone. Surrounding it were dozens of smaller cultivation stars, orbiting around it and moving slowly with it. Shimmering formations of light flickered around, connecting these small stars to Donglin Star, forming a massive star network visible from afar. At this moment, all the formations on Donglin Star had been activated, causing the star network to constantly emit booming sounds, resonating throughout the vast starry sky. Faintly, one could see that on the dozens of smaller stars surrounding Donglin Star, sword lights flickered as many cultivators rapidly set up formations, creating more array restrictions while strengthening the defense of Donglin Star. The tense atmosphere could be clearly felt on the solemn faces of the thousands of cultivators present. None of the cultivators spoke. They simply arranged themselves in their positions, slowly activating all the formations on these small stars. On each of the small stars, 3 elders sat cross-legged in the center of the formation. These elders numbered close to 100, each radiating an ancient aura, clearly having lived for a very long time and rarely leaving their secluded places. But now, they had no choice but to appear. Because the representative of the Xiang family, Xiang Yundong, had brought back a shocking news that stunned the entire Xiang family. Wang Lin, who had his life force taken by the ancestor years ago, had returned with a cultivation that even Lu Fuzi feared. This news shook the entire Xiang family. After a brief silence, the current family head and the Grand Elder immediately issued the East Arrival Blood Decree. Within Donglin Star, the Xiang family secretly ruled. They rarely appeared, and even many Luotian cultivators were unaware of them. What the world knew was that there were 3 major families on Donglin Star: Su, Lu, and Lu. Among them, the Su family was infamous for producing killers, their blood-soaked reputation sending shivers down the spines of those who mentioned them in the Luotian star domain. Then there was the Lu family. While not as well known as the Su family, they were highly skilled in formation techniques. Though they did not possess the legendary forbidden arts like the Li Yuan family, who had once stood shoulder to shoulder with the Xiang family, the Lu family was exceptionally talented, and their understanding of formations was profound. The entire defense formation of Donglin Star was set up by the Lu family. Finally, the Lu family, famous for crafting magical artifacts and divine arts, was especially known for their 9-life blood sunflower art. This terrifying technique combined divine arts and magical artifacts, and it was rumored that it had only been used once since its creation. That single usage, however, caused immense destruction throughout the entire eastern Luotian region, as though even in the Luotian star domain, the Xiang family alone could stand against the Thunder Immortal Palace, with the latter likely being at a disadvantage. Of course, this excluded Lu Fuzi. The Xiang family was like a colossal, sleeping giant. It stayed still for now, but once awakened, it could shake the entire Luotian region. Thus, a representative from the Xiang family, Xiang Yundong, despite his insufficient cultivation, was still chosen by Lu Fuzi to be one of the 4 disciples to inherit his teachings. Each of the 4 chosen disciples had their own significance. Whether it was Blood God, Lai Yunzi, or Yin Lazy, each one had been carefully selected for a reason. There was a rumor circulating among the ancient monsters of the Luotian star domain, one connected to the Xiang family, but no one could verify its truth. Perhaps only Lu Fuzi knew whether it was real. According to the rumor, the most mysterious and ancient cultivation clan in all of Luotian, one said to have survived from immemorial times, had some obscure connection to the Xiang family. Some even claimed that the Xiang family was an external branch of this ancient clan, a branch whose role was to guard the gateway for the true family, whose very surname had long been forgotten by most. This ancient cultivation clan had already existed long before the collapse of the immortal realm. It had endured through the entire primordial era and countless millennia since, amassing power and heritage that defied imagination. Their presence was shrouded in such mystery that even across 10,000 years, few had ever appeared in Luotian. Not even during Wang Lin's time in Luotian, when Lu Fuzi's maneuvering sparked a war between Luotian and the Alliance, did this clan show its hand. All they did was issue a single ancient decree, the sealing of a true immortal, dispatching only one person. That person was 9th Elder Imuzi, the one who had tried to seize the lunar essence within moon-gazing beast. At that time, under the command of the East Arrival Blood Decree issued by the Xiang family, the 3 great families on Donglin star mobilized fully, erecting layer upon layer of defenses. Now, on the Eastern Dominant Star, in the far western land, the scene was grim. The ground was dark red, as though steeped in endless ages of bloodshed. A nauseating stench of blood lingered in the air, carried on the breeze, refusing to dissipate. Perhaps the suffocating aura of blood had tainted everything here, imbuing the land with a violent, maddening energy. At the far edge of this land lay a sprawling graveyard of chaos, littered with severed limbs, weathered bones, and scraps of decaying flesh. Above, carrion vultures circled the sky, some perched upon skeletal remains, pecking hungrily at rotting meat. Death energy filled the far western land, thick as fog. From a distance, it appeared to form a colossal invisible vortex, stirring death itself and rattling the souls of any cultivators who dared approach. Wailing souls drifted across the land, their voiceless cries of resentment echoing endlessly. Wang Lin had once been here. This was the long-sealed meditation place of the last surviving ancestor of the Xiang family. The deeper one ventured, the blacker the soil became. No sign of life could exist here. Even members of the Xiang family would never dare to come without grave cause, for the very earth drained their life force. After each visit, they would emerge weakened, forced to immediately sit in meditation and breath regulation to recover. At this moment, 2 old men in black robes were slowly making their way across this cursed land. Their faces were solemn. As they reached the depths of the far western land, they stopped. One of them cupped his fists respectfully toward the dark earth and said in a low voice, "Ancestor, everything has been arranged as per your orders. All that remains is for Wang Lin to arrive." His voice pierced the earth and echoed deep below, descending into a vast, hollow space beneath the ground. There, as far as the eye could see, stretched a sea of skulls, countless human heads packed tightly together. The death energy here was several times stronger than outside, completely blanketing the space. In the center of this ghastly sea stood a towering skull tower, atop which rested a coffin. It was the color of dry soil, but parts of it had already rotted through. This boy has yet to reach that level. Lu Fuzi said such things only to bait Wang Lin into testing a theory he's long held. It's of no concern. The earth trembled faintly as the coffin dweller's ancient, raspy words reverberated. Hearing their ancestor's verdict, the 2 black-robed elders exhaled in relief. The news brought back by Xiang Yundong had shaken them deeply, making them feel as if disaster loomed. Now, with the ancestor's reassurance, their hearts were steady once more. To them, the ancestor was the heavens themselves. And if the ancestor said it was of no concern, then it surely was not. Yet none of them, not even the ancestor within the coffin, realized that far above, beyond the eastern dominant star, a white-robed figure had appeared in the starry sky. Wang Lin had come. Gazing at the starlit expanse and the protective light screen surrounding Donglin and its dozens of satellites, Wang Lin felt as though time had turned back. He remembered the first time he had come here, accompanied by Qingshui, carrying hope in his heart, and following Xiang Yundong into this world. Gradually, an overwhelming gleam of icy fury appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. Just 4 simple words, yet they carried an aged confidence. But the one who spoke them had no idea. In that very instant, Wang Lin had already arrived. Had he known, perhaps those words would never have left his lips. Wang Lin stood tens of thousands of zhang away from Donglin's star, gazing toward the horizon at the massive cultivation star, several times larger than the destiny star of the past. In his eyes, the killing intent only deepened. Back then, he had come to the inner realm from the Alliance, burning with hope to resurrect Li Muan. Battling all the way, he had ultimately earned the Thunder Immortal title in the Battle of the Sealing True Immortal, and even secured a promise from the ancient cultivation clan, the Xiang family. Wang Lin had never intended to become enemies with the mighty Xiang family. All he wanted was for Li Muan to awaken. Clinging to that hope, guided by Xiang Yundong, he had come to Donglin's star for the first time, paying respects to the patriarch of the Xiang family. But the man's treachery and malice did not help awaken Li Muan. Instead, he stole every last ounce of Wang Lin's life force. If not for the Annihilation Finger, Wang Lin would have died that very day. Now, with the power he had cultivated, and his growing understanding of how difficult Li Muan's resurrection truly was, Wang Lin saw clearly. The Xiang family patriarch's every word back then had been a lie. The man never had the ability to bring her back, not even with the 7th night art. In truth, had it not been for the heaven-evading coffin, even the faint hope of Li Muan's resurrection might have been utterly destroyed. That so-called 7th night art's infusion of vitality was, in hindsight, a key reason her soul was scattered. The man hadn't just stolen Wang Lin's vitality. He had tried to obliterate Li Muan entirely. Wang Lin's desire to breathe life into her was not wrong. If the life force had been properly transferred, she might not be lying dormant now, her awakening date unknown. Resurrection, even then, might not have been impossible, but the Xiang family's vile actions ruined it all. Back then, Wang Lin's cultivation was too weak to fully grasp the truth. But with 1,000 years past, he now saw everything with terrifying clarity. His hatred surged like a tidal wave. And the other party, he had always known. Wang Lin needed to understand. Why? Why had the Xiang family patriarch deceived him, using Li Muan's resurrection as an excuse to strip him of his life force? There had to be a reason behind it all. In the past, Wang Lin had fled in humiliation. He had no power to ask, no strength to resist. All he could do was endure, burying the disgrace and rage deep within his soul, just as he had once endured centuries of suffering from the Tung family. But today, for the second time, Wang Lin looked upon Donglin's star, and now he was qualified to know the truth. Murderous intent burned in his eyes. He stepped forward. With that single step, the starry sky roared. Tens of thousands of zhang vanished beneath his feet. In a thunderous boom, Wang Lin appeared just 1,000 zhang away from Donglin's star. The stars trembled. Waves of spatial ripples surged outward from him. The barrier burst into dazzling brilliance, flickering wildly, radiating like a blazing sun. Thump, thump, thump. In that instant, all cultivators on those minor stars heard their hearts pounding violently. A surge of raw power flooded into their bodies, forcing their primordial energy to circulate madly. If they didn't, their very bodies might collapse from the vibrations of the starry sky. Standing outside Donglin's star, Wang Lin's gaze was sharp as lightning. As he appeared, he spoke calmly, his voice cutting through the void. "You know who I am. Get out here now." The moment his words rang out, a thunderous echo erupted across the sky. "Get out! Get out! Get out!" That one sentence released the fury Wang Lin had buried for 1,000 years. It carried his seething hatred toward the Xiang family for stealing his life force. It held the despair of having come, full of hope with Li Muan, only to be betrayed. "You can rob me of my life force in a battle. You can hunt me like the Yao family once did. But to deceive me at my most vulnerable moment, to extinguish the hope of reviving Li Muan, and to plot not only against me, but a gentle woman already dead. That was something Wang Lin would never accept. Never. Echoes boomed and surged madly through the starry sky, like roaring thunder that drowned out all the sounds left behind by Wang Lin's previous step. It transformed into a roar several times stronger, shaking the heavens and the stars themselves. In the wake of that voice, a storm of lightning erupted across the sky. Bolts of thunder rumbled and tore through the void. Lightning flickered and danced, and in the blink of an eye, the endless firmament beyond Donglin's star had become a hellish thunder pool. The sound wave of that single sentence roared like it could shatter the stars, like it could break heaven and earth. It rushed forward, wild and boundless, as if an ancient god was bellowing in fury. Compared to this, the storm born from Wang Lin's step seemed like nothing. In this one shout, a tempest countless times more powerful surged forth, replacing all before it, carrying Wang Lin's fury, his rage, his hatred, and the question he had borne for a millennium, all erupting in a thunderous blast. On the dozens of smaller stars outside Donglin's star, the restriction lights flickered in panic, but 9 cultivation stars were unable to withstand the roar. They shattered instantly. The deafening booms echoed across the entire eastern region of Luotian. Those 9 cultivation stars disintegrated completely, exploding into pieces. Every cultivator stationed on them had their physical bodies collapse, their essence spirits torn to shreds, perishing on the spot. Even the 27 elders maintaining the formations on those stars couldn't resist. Horrified and stunned, they were snuffed out as though erased by an invisible hand, dead in an instant. They didn't even have the chance to flee. Under Wang Lin's millennium roar, escape was simply impossible. On the remaining small stars beyond Donglin's star, thousands of cultivators vomited blood. The restrictions still tried to hold back the force of the roar, but its lingering shockwaves seeped through, shaking their souls and filling them with an overwhelming fear they could not resist. And within that roar, Donglin's star itself suddenly trembled. Cracks tore through the land with grinding sounds. Mountains collapsed into rubble, rivers reversed and surged violently. To the north, the great sea of Donglin's star churned wildly, forming a massive whirlpool. The moment the roar entered the sea, it transformed into a blast of force that shot deep underwater. The ocean surged forward, turning into a tsunami, hurling 1,000-foot waves toward the land, threatening to engulf it completely. The waves raced toward the coast, as if trying to bury everything in their path. In the far western land of Donglin's star, the 2 black-robed elders had only just relaxed their minds when the thunderous roar struck. Their bodies shuddered violently, as though smashed by a tremendous force, sending them flying backward 100 zhang. Blood sprayed from their mouths, and one of them had his physical body shattered on the spot, his flesh torn apart. Splash! A low, guttural roar came from inside the now lidless coffin. A withered right hand suddenly shot out, clawing tightly onto the edge of the coffin. On the surface, the black-robed elder who had vomited blood showed an expression of indescribable terror. Without the slightest hesitation, he swiftly formed a hand seal. A black jade slip appeared and flickered rapidly in his hand. Form the formation. At all costs, stop him from entering Donglin's star. In an instant, powerful auras surged out from within Donglin's star. From the southeast, north, and other directions, countless cultivators converged. Looking from the sky, it was clear that tens of thousands of cultivators now blanketed the vast expanse of Donglin's star. To the north, where the Lu clan resided, over 10,000 cultivators sat densely on the ground, forming a massive formation of restrictions. Dozens of elders sat cross-legged in the air, frantically forming hand seals, spurting blood again and again. Their blood pooled together, forming a looming blood shadow. To the south, where the Su clan was located, nearly 10,000 cultivators encircled a massive blood pool, 1,000 zhang in diameter. A raging murderous aura surged from within. Each cultivator stepped into the pool one by one, their expressions grave and solemn. To the east, where the Lu clan held ground, groups of 7 cultivators formed formations stretching across thousands of li. Beside each group stood a magical artifact dozens of zhang tall. each one radiating a golden yellow light. With this density of forces, if one looked down from the skies. Meanwhile, outside Donglin's star, the remaining dozens of small stars rapidly flashed with the glow of the prohibition, spinning wildly, circling Donglin's star at an astonishing speed. In the blink of an eye, they formed a massive vortex, completely enveloping Donglin's star. Wang Lin coldly gazed at the scene before him, a sharp gleam flashing in his eyes as he took a step forward. If you refuse to come out, then I, Wang, will drag you out myself. Anyone who obstructs me will be buried alongside you. Formation transforms into a heavenly dome, sealing Demon Immortal. Formation blocks all directions. In a series of sealing formations, the thousands of cultivators inside the rotating small stars outside Donglin stars simultaneously formed hand seals. Immediately, layers of light barriers appeared, surrounding the perimeter. In the blink of an eye, these light barriers multiplied, first 1,000 layers, then 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, 10 million, until it reached 99,999 layers. The light emanating from within these barriers was so intense it could pierce the stars, rapidly spreading in all directions, covering the entire Luo Tian East. Even in the other 3-star regions, one could clearly see the powerful light emanating from the east. Within the Luo Tian star region, far from Donglin's star, in the war preparation zone, over 600 cultivation stars had formed the center of a massive star array. In the heart of the swirling vortex, Lu Fuzi's eyes shone with a sharp light as he gazed into the distance. Beside him, Yin Lazy, Blood God, and Lai Yunzi were all pale, sensing the endless light emanating from Donglin's star. The formation of Donglin's star is passed down from ancient times. It is said that the Lu family of Donglin's star has been nurturing the formation spirit for tens of thousands of years. Once fully activated, the formation spirit enters the array, and its power is unimaginable. I wonder if Wang Lin can break through it. This person's cultivation is beyond comprehension, yet even so, breaking the Donglin star formation will surely take some time. If it were me, I could break the formation in a few breaths. Lu Fuzi's gaze never left the distance, and within his heart, he already had the answer. 20 breaths, enough? Let's see how long Wang Lin can last before breaking it. The 99 million light barriers appeared in an instant, forming an impenetrable array so powerful that even Lu Fuzi would need 20 breaths to break it. This formation was already at the extreme limit of a second-step divine ability. Even if, as soon as this aura spread into the starry sky, it immediately caused the stars to distort, with countless tearing cracks appearing, as if the starry sky itself couldn't withstand the power of this Tao Ancient aura. Tao Ancient, a being even stronger than the ancient gods. In fact, the ancient gods themselves had separated from Tao Ancient. In the instant this aura spread, a massive illusory figure appeared behind Wang Lin. The figure was blurry, but it was unmistakably a head without its left eye. This head was enormous, and as soon as it appeared, it covered the entire starry sky, replacing everything in sight. The oppressive force spread out and engulfed the entire Luo Tian East. At the moment this aura emerged, all cultivators in the Luo Tian star domain were struck with horror, as if they were facing an incomprehensible existence that transcended their understanding. In the center of the massive star formation, Lu Fuzi's eyes suddenly contracted in disbelief when he saw this enormous head. What? What is this? Ancient god? Ancient demon? Ancient devil? The existence of Tao Ancient was known to only a few, and even Lu Fuzi, in his entire life, had never witnessed it. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he raised his right hand, pointing at the sky, and slowly clenched his fist. As he lowered it, he gently struck at the 99 million light barriers before him. Divine tremor. The starry sky trembled as Wang Lin's fist fell. In an instant, an illusory fist appeared in the sky, a massive fist several thousand zhang in size, its 5 fingers clenched, roaring toward the barriers. In the blink of an eye, the illusory giant fist collided with the light barriers. The barriers trembled violently, and as the fist landed, the light flickered rapidly, producing an ear-splitting roar that echoed throughout the star domain. Without any resistance, the light barriers began to collapse under the impact of the giant fist. 99 million, 80 million, 60 million, 30 million. Just like a fist striking the surface of water, it crashed deeply into it. In the continuous collapse and disintegration, this ancient formation, passed down from the primordial era, exploded with a deafening roar. With continuous fragmentation, in a mere instant, the formation completely shattered, unable to stop the illusory fist from falling. The fist pierced through the light barrier and shattered over 90 million layers within. As the formation tore apart, it fragmented into countless pieces, revealing a vortex formed by dozens of cultivation stars inside. The vortex, violently struck by the formation fragments, immediately emitted a series of booming sounds. The cultivation stars inside were riddled with cracks, as if they were about to collapse together. But this was not the end. Wang Lin's divine tremor fist was a breathtaking blow made after the 7 stars ancient god fused with the Tao ancient inheritance. The light barrier formation, like paper, was shattered by a single punch, with less than 1/10 of its power being countered. The 7 stars ancient god's physical strength alone could rival the 3rd step great power. How could this tiny Donglin star withstand it? With a thunderous roar, the illusory fist collided with the vortex outside Donglin's star. A deafening sound shook the heavens, and the vortex suddenly exploded from the force of the punch. The dozens of cultivation stars that formed the vortex shook violently. More than 10 of them had their surface completely shattered, deep ravines appearing as their edges showed signs of cracking. In the blink of an eye, they exploded into countless pieces. The cultivators above those stars were all torn apart in this collapse. Their bodies and essence spirits disintegrated, and even the elders who maintained the formation, despite their profound cultivation, could not escape. They were all erased from existence, disintegrating along with the cultivation stars. Wang Lin's illusory fist, tens of thousands of feet in size, crashed into the vortex, heading straight for the Donglin dominant star. As his fist moved forward, the remaining cultivation stars, drawn toward it, fell upon the fist, but shattered upon contact. It seemed as though Wang Lin, the mist gathered in the center, and amidst the blood light, a fierce roar echoed. Immediately after, a blood shadow shot out and soared into the sky. The blood shadow's figure was blurry, its form indistinct, but an overwhelming aura of formations and restrictions emanated from it. At that moment, the sky above Donglin star's northern region turned dark, all light replaced by a massive fist. It was none other than Wang Lin's fist, now descending upon Donglin star. Under that fist, the blood shadow darted toward it. In the blink of an eye, as the blood shadow closed in, a deafening shriek rang out, and it collided with Wang Lin's illusory, Tao ancient divine tremor fist in a violent clash. The tremendous sound reverberated throughout the entire Donglin star, expanding uncontrollably from Wang Lin's side and spreading across the entire eastern Luo heaven. Before the sound could dissipate, the blood shadow under the fist exploded, transforming into countless drops of blood rain, falling from the sky. Before the blood rain could reach the ground, Wang Lin's Tao ancient fist, with even greater force, descended faster than the blood rain and slammed into the northern lands of Donglin star. The entire northern region of Donglin star shook violently. The land crumbled in layers, and nearly 10,000 cultivators perished. The ground cracked open, revealing a massive pit several tens of thousands of feet wide. The sky above had a deep hole that seemed to plunge into Donglin star's core, 6/10 of the way into the planet. The pit was shrouded in darkness, and a strong stench of blood wafted from within. Despite not exploding, Donglin star was rocked by even stronger tidal waves, as the sea water, shaken loose from the surface, soared into the air. A large portion of it fell into the deep pit, while the rest fell as rain, cascading down across Donglin star. Soon, the pit Wang Lin had created was filled with seawater, gradually rising. From high above, the pit's edges were clear, resembling the shape of a punch striking into mud, indistinguishable from a human fist. 8 breaths. From the moment Wang Lin's divine tremor fist shattered the formation barrier, causing all the small stars to explode, until the northern region of Donglin star, Where the Lu family was buried beneath the earth, a massive pit formed. It all happened in just 8 breaths. Within the vortex where Lu Fuzi resided, he suddenly sprang up from his seated position, eyes wide with shock and disbelief. He had just realized that his analysis of Wang Lin contained a massive, critical error. He hasn't reached the 3rd step. Yet with just one punch, he created such terrifying power. 8 breaths. 8 breaths. Lu Fuzi gasped sharply. In that instant, he completely overturned his earlier conclusion drawn after seeing the rain sword. In his heart, Wang Lin's status rose immeasurably, now equal to his own. That single punch shattered every mountain on Donglin's star, ripping open chasms across the land that now formed rivers for the falling seawater to stream through. In the north, the collapse of the land and the appearance of massive sinkholes made this torrential rain from the sky seem like the very tears of Donglin. The punch, the Tao ancient divine tremor, shook not only the land, but also every cultivator's heart. In the southern region, among the Su family, nearly 10,000 cultivators stood frozen. A deep fear and utter despair they had never felt before surged within them. Even the family head and all the elders were dumbstruck. What kind of cultivation level is this? Even ancient formations couldn't stop him. Cultivation stars collapsed one after another. Even this eternal Donglin star was shaken by that punch. The blow had already surpassed the limits of their imagination. No, it shouldn't have existed in the world at all. It clearly belonged to the realm of the 3rd step great powers. To the east, the Lu family's nearly 10,000 cultivators, arranged in organized formations, also felt the tremors in the ground. They had witnessed with their own eyes the colossal punch falling from the heavens and the annihilation of the Lu family. Now, silence gripped every single one of them. Can Donglin star even withstand another punch like that? Far to the west, in the territory of the Xiang family, the 10,000 cultivators all looked westward. The same was true of the southern Su family. Every gaze turned to the far west. Even among the Xiang family, someone was the first to cast their eyes toward the secluded chamber of their patriarch. Gradually, every clan member followed. They were waiting for one word from the patriarch, to fight or to surrender. But before they could hear the old patriarch's decision from the far west, something else came first. A lone figure emerged in the rain, dressed in robes as white as snow. Donglin's star had lost all means of defense before Wang Lin. With calm, deliberate steps, he slowly appeared in the sky. His gaze, sharp as lightning, swept coldly toward the far western land. "Haven't you crawled out of that coffin yet?" Wang Lin said calmly. There was no thunder in his voice, yet every single cultivator on the ground heard it with absolute clarity. That single sentence exerted an invisible pressure over them all. "Fight to the death!" A hoarse roar exploded from the closed retreat of the Xiang family's patriarch in the far west. It trembled with boundless terror and madness. The moment the words rang out, every member of the Xiang family's eyes turned blood red. With crazed howls, they shot into the sky toward Wang Lin. Their faces showed unhinged madness, as though their minds had been erased. Only a wild bloodlust remained. The same occurred in the southern Su family. Nearly 10,000 cultivators erupted in madness, losing all reason as they too launched skyward. As for the eastern Lu family, their 10,000 cultivators swiftly activated massive magical artifacts. In an instant, dazzling beams of light shot skyward like silver serpents, roaring toward Wang Lin. At the same time, after unleashing their artifacts, every Lu family member sat cross-legged and began forming seals. Waves of buzzing incantations rang out across the land. Blood sunflower art. Nearly 10,000 voices shouted in unison, forming a thunderous roar that surged into the sky. Then, from each cultivator's body, a strange floral fragrance began to spread. As the scent thickened, a massive yellow sunflower suddenly materialized on the ground. It rapidly turned golden, yet at its center was a pitch-black void, within which countless particles could be faintly seen, like seeds. But under Wang Lin's gaze, those seeds were clear. They were the heads of the nearly 10,000 Lu family cultivators. In that very instant, bloody lines appeared at the base of every cultivator's neck. As their incantations grew more intense, the bloodlines suddenly flashed, 10,000 heads were severed simultaneously. Torrents of fresh blood gushed forth, merging with the ongoing chant to create a cataclysmic force. The massive sunflowers, tens of thousands of Xiang in size, suddenly exploded with an array of golden blood-colored rays, each streaking across the sky in a strange and dazzling display. With a deafening roar, they shot up from the ground, rapidly closing in on Wang Lin. From a distance, it appeared as though a colossal pillar of light, tens of thousands of Xiang wide, burst forth from the earth, directly heading toward Wang Lin. A terrifying force of destruction spread rapidly within the pillar of light. Within its depths, a headless shadow faintly emerged, clad in armor, holding a long spear, speeding toward Wang Lin. This force, under the influence of some unknown divine art, had clearly surpassed the limits of a fifth decay of heaven and man cultivator and was now dangerously close to the third step immortal flame divine art. One could even say that the aura within this pillar of light had reached a power comparable to an early-stage void nirvana strike from a third-step cultivator. All of this came from the headless figure within the pillar of light. Wang Lin suddenly turned around, his eyes flashing like lightning as they swept across the pillar. In that instant, he saw the headless figure inside, and the pillar of light was already so fast that it came within 3 Xiang of Wang Lin in the blink of an eye. It seemed to give Wang Lin no chance to dodge. But Wang Lin didn't plan on dodging. His eyes flickered, and with a flash, with a single palm, he blocked a strike that was nearly as powerful as a third-step void nirvana cultivator's blow. Under the deafening rumble, the very earth seemed to tear apart beneath Wang Lin. A massive chasm split open, rapidly expanding, and in an instant, it pierced through the layers of Donglin's star, causing the eastern part of the land to be forcibly separated. From a distance, one could clearly see the eastern region of Donglin's star splitting apart, as if a massive fragment of the planet was being ripped away, dragging with it the corpses of many cultivators who had fallen to the blood sunflower art, and they were hurtling toward the vast starry sea. Donglin's star began to crumble, the eastern part collapsing, signaling the onset of a large-scale disaster. The pillar of light vanished from the heavens, and the headless figure within it disappeared as well. Wang Lin stood firm, never retreating even an inch, until the pillar dispersed before him. He slowly withdrew his right hand. Such a divine art, it's a pity to destroy it. As the pillar vanished and the eastern section of Donglin's star broke off, the words of the Xiang family patriarch, "Fight to the death," echoed in the minds of all the cultivators still present on the star. They immediately went wild, charging toward Wang Lin with red eyes, seemingly unwilling to rest until he was dead. "I, Wang Lin, have killed countless in my life. I don't mind killing again. Though I don't know why you sent them to die, I will grant your wish." Wang Lin's expression was calm as he faced the tens of thousands of cultivators rushing toward him. His right hand raised, he casually waved forward. At the moment of his wave, 9 colored flames erupted from his left eye, surging as they spread out across the heavens and earth, sweeping across everything in their path. Illusory flame cultivators are adept at group battles. With a single wave, the cultivators who were rapidly closing in on him felt the surge of illusory fire within their bodies. A series of terrible shrieks echoed as they were consumed by the flames, their bodies turning to ash. No one was spared. In the blink of an eye, Wang Lin seemed to become a blazing fire, and these crazed cultivators were like moths to the flame, perishing one by one in the inferno. As the sea of flames spread, the clouds and rain over Donglin's star transformed into white mist that rose into the sky, obscuring the heavens. Wang Lin continued forward, heading toward the far western land, where the Xiang family patriarch had once forcibly drained all his vitality, to the place where the patriarch was in seclusion. As Wang Lin moved forward, the shrieks of agony continued to reverberate across the cultivation star, as every cultivator who came close was consumed by the fire and turned to ashes. No one could stop his march. Step by step, Wang Lin moved toward the far western land, where the Xiang family patriarch's tomb was, deep beneath the ground, inside a massive chasm that led to the very depths of the earth. With each step forward, Wang Lin descended into the chasm. At the moment he entered, A furious roar erupted from the soil-colored coffin within. Thick, yellow, sticky liquid began to pour out, forming a tidal wave that surged toward Wang Lin in the chasm. A putrid stench of decay mixed with a thick, suffocating aura of death, forming a storm that swept through the liquid wave. In an instant, it approached Wang Lin. His expression remained calm as the storm neared. With a flick of his sleeve, the storm collapsed with a thunderous crash, causing the yellow liquid inside to splatter and hit the surrounding ground, emitting a sizzling sound. At the same time, a withered right hand, gripping the nearby wooden board, seemed to exert tremendous force. A hoarse, breathy voice echoed from within the coffin. Ancient decree, destroy Donglin's star, annihilate 9 generations. As the voice resounded, the terrifying figure of the Xiang family ancestor struggled to rise from the coffin.